This is Bryan Simmons. You're listening to the Four Corner Fandemonium.
It's showtime! Woo!
Rest in peace.
Welcome to Four Corner Fandemonium. I'm your host, Jay Will, the voice of independent wrestling. And today we have Bryan Simmons. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing pretty good.
Well, it's kind of early in the morning, huh?
Yeah. That's where the good work starts at.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so tell us a little bit about you. How many years you've been in pro wrestling and what wrestling school did you attend?
All right, so I've been in professional wrestling as an active wrestler. This would be my third year. I'm not actually sure if we count, but that January 17th was of 2020 was my first match. So, and then obviously, everything hit the fan. Yeah. And then we missed a whole bunch of dates that could have happened. I kind of count 3 years, but technically 3 years.
Gotcha.
The school I went to was the Primetime Wrestling Alliance out there in Yorktown, Virginia. I was trained by Bo Crockett, Wes Rogers, Dante Bishop, and a handful of other guys.
Yeah, I've seen Bo Crockett on many occasions and everything. Great wrestler. Great representative for Virginia as well. Well, before you started and growing up and everything, who was your favorite wrestler?
Okay, so it's like 3. And it goes with like me growing up to me being a teen to an adult.
Gotcha.
So growing up, favorite wrestler, Chris Jericho.
Okay.
When I got a little older, it was Triple H. And I don't know what happened, but right when I hit 19, it became Edge, and it's been Edge ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
All 3 guys got a lot of intensity. And actually great wrestlers and have versatility in their characters and everything. So I definitely can understand that.
Yeah. I feel like those 3 guys, they just have something that makes you want to watch them.
Yeah.
And that's like a broad statement, but like Jericho can constantly reinvents himself. He is probably the most creative wrestler that there is out there. Everything he does hits. Triple H, I mean, I don't even got to explain that. You a wrestling fan, you know about Triple H. And man, Edge is it's just that it's the character. Everything you hear him say sounds earnest. He makes you believe what he's talking about.
Yeah, his believability rate is out this world. It's like it doesn't matter if it's like that it's a promo that he's cutting, but you don't feel like it's a promo that he's cutting. You feel like that's how it really feels when he's telling you what's going on. And in some of his promos, it's crazy.
Yeah, that whole rated R era, that's my favorite era of him. I know a lot of people ain't really like him in the industry like that during that era, but as a fan watching, dude, that man was firing on all cylinders.
If you realize in wrestling, like everybody who's on point at the moment, a lot of people in the industry don't like him. But sometimes you attribute it to hate, but sometimes you got to attribute it to like maybe they were an asshole in that time, but it didn't translate on screen.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like you don't if you hear it so much, you don't really know who to believe. Like, was he really hard to work with, or were you just not on their level and it just upset you?
Maybe a little bit of jealousy in there. Yeah. I mean, I believe it. I believe it.
In your wrestling career, what have you accomplished so far that you thought you wouldn't accomplish?
We were set up to believe in the training school that we came from that first gang of matches was going to be in front of a really small independent show, 15 people. It's modest, intimate, but we trained with ended up having our first match in front of 200 people.
Oh wow, talk about pressure.
Yeah, over there at Dynamite Championship Wrestling in Delaware.
Okay, yeah, I'll be actually attending there on the 25th.
Yeah, yeah. That promotion gave me my first shot. Um, I owe a lot to the booker over there, Zach Connor.
Okay,
Um, and most of the stuff that I do now comes from what I learned.
okay,
So another thing that I didn't think I would accomplish would be, or I didn't think that I would actually do, would be starting a wrestling promotion here in Virginia.
yes.
Next Up Pro Wrestling.
Next up, yep,
Yeah.
we're gonna get to that as well. I
Hmm.
talked to your boy Alejandro.
Yeah.
We had a podcast and we was talking about that as well.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
very proud of Virginia for how we're stepping up with wrestling and everything, especially the independent scene.
It was time. There was a big void in Virginia wrestling. I mean, you had VCW, and there would be no wrestling for a couple of months in the Virginia Beach area. So, or I should say, cities.
Yeah,
And we had a lot of people come up to us while we were training in the school, asking, is there anywhere that we can watch you guys wrestle? We would say, hey, check us out in Maryland. And you unanimously, people would say, I'm not going that far.
yeah.
So I don't know if you want to get into specifics of Next Up right now,
Oh, we
but
surely can, brother.
there were okay. There were a couple of steps that needed to happen that made Next Up Pro Wrestling happen. Um, First, there was a promotion that ran out in Richmond. It's called UEW, United Elite Wrestling. You ever heard of that?
Okay. No, I haven't heard of that.
Okay. Well, we were really tight with a couple of the guys that were backstage on that. And we started getting closer to the wrestlers by with the management staff. We got to know like Rhett Titus, who was on the first Next Up Pro Wrestling match.
Okay.
Got close to one of the pillars of VA wrestling, Sledge Gibson.
Okay.
We started making contacts there. After that, so we got booked off in North Carolina at a place called Shockwave. The owners had just changed hands. A girl had just come into the company. She ended up buying the company. I don't want to say her name because she want to keep it on the hush on
Gotcha.
who owns it. She's very private, but they were going on a hiatus, but she wanted to continue promoting Shockwave even though the company was going on hiatus. Once once that happened, she talked to me and Alejandro, and we thought about, well, why don't we just do a showcase show for the kids at the school and put some Shockwave titles on the line, do some Shockwave stuff over there just to keep the name going while they're on their hiatus. Once we did that, me and Alejandro were in a car. We just riding and we were talking to each other, and we thought about all of the contacts that we made from UEW. So then the idea, the germ of the idea of just putting on a showcase grew into something of, why don't we just turn this into a promotion? We have titles, we have wrestlers, we have a venue, and I know that people want to come to see wrestling. So once we did that, we looking up every bar, the where to get a ring, uh, license it, all of it, and we balanced our books, ended up finding out that it was very doable for us.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Had all your ducks in a row.
We had all of our ducks in a row. And then one of our trainers, Wes Rogers, came and said, hey guys, you remember the UEW ring? Because again, UEW was also on hiatus about around this time. Well, he actually had the ring for himself at his home. So we ended up renting that ring for our show. And that's the ring we're using now.
Oh, that's great.
So we had to have gone to UEW and we had to have gone to Shockwave in order for Next Up to actually happen. Without those two companies, we wouldn't be doing this.
And shout out to both companies, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not often that companies actually help out another company and not try to take the shine for themselves and book stuff on the same nights and stuff like that. I just rather see all the companies that work together.
Yeah, that's really what we want, is to just like have Virginia wrestling in the strongest state that it can be.
Definitely.
We ended our first 2 shows ended up selling out both times. We did over 200 people, and all we did was did exactly what our trainers told us to do, which was
your training, and it worked.
Yep. Promos, hand out flyers. You beat the pavement and hard work will pay off. So, and that's how we got it. We have our 3rd show coming here on April 22nd. Big show.
April 22nd. Where's that going to be at?
It's going to be in the Salvation Army in Hampton.
Hampton, Virginia.
Hampton,
Salvation
Virginia.
Army. April 22nd.
Yep. Same place. Same place. Yep.
I know my football season starts on the 15th because I also coach for the Eastern Shore Rage Development Professional League this year. So whatever dates that I do have that I'm available, I will be at any show that I can be. So even if our game is near there, because we play in Virginia, so I can't even make it then. I'll definitely let you know ahead of time. Might even
sure.
a couple of players so we can pack the house out, make it real out.
Yeah. I mean, just let us know. We'll have the seats available. You want to bring some of their families? Let me know. We can work something out.
I definitely will. Definitely will. Oh man, it's so great what y'all got going on with Next Up. I'm happy to be a part of it with my first show and everything. That's lovely for the state of Virginia.
Yeah.
So other than that, okay. So let's get back to you as a fan.
Okay.
A fan of yourself and your wrestling career. What is your favorite matches that you've wrestled so far?
As a matter of fact, I just wrestled probably one of my personal favorite last Thursday at Brew Wrestling. It was myself and Alejandro versus the Real Life Freaks. They've been wrestling in Virginia for years, and they've been super supportive of us, and we've been wanting to work with them forever, individually and collectively, because me and Alejandro really just started doing tag team stuff last year, the later part of last year.
Wow, y'all chemistry is off the chain for that short amount of time. I can tell you that.
You think so?
Yeah. I thought y'all had been together for longer than that.
Well, I appreciate it. We've actually trained together. Me and him have been training together since day one. So that's pretty much where that comes from. And me and him just were friends outside of that's not all surprising. But me and him talk to each other for hours about, and we kind of like get a synergy off of our mutual interests. So that's probably how that chemistry came along.
That's always a good thing. Y'all can push each other in a positive way, and it's not y'all trying to one up each other. It's actually y'all pushing each other positive.
There is a little bit of one-upsmanship in there.
It's got to be, but it's not as broadcasted as other
it's not toxic
would be.
Yeah, it's not toxic.
Yeah. It's what's needed to push each other.
For sure.
All right, back in the day, you had what? You had SmackDown, Raw. What was your favorite show?
It was whatever show Edge was on.
I understand.
So yeah, when he started the rated R superstar stuff that was on Raw,
Yeah.
loved it, and then he got traded to SmackDown, and I followed him to SmackDown.
Yeah, he kind of just took over SmackDown from there.
Yeah. Um, but before he started all the rated R stuff, I was a Raw guy. It was just pushed heavier. I was Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely was pushed heavier. But I mean, it was good shows.
Yeah.
SmackDown as popular like when it started.
Yeah.
Once they started bringing their bigger guys over there and let them do their thing, then SmackDown kind of just took over as a thing of its own.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's for sure. I remember. I'll tell you this though. The very first when I found out about wrestling, I don't know if this is getting ahead of your messages, your questions. Um, the very first show that I ever watched was Monday Night Nitro.
okay.
WCW 1997. My very first match that I ever watched was Dean Malenko versus Chris Benoit.
Oh man, what a hell of a match to watch.
Yeah,
That's kind of cheating being your first match. You gotta be a wrestling fan after that.
I
It's no
was.
watching something like that and be like, oh, this is lame. Oh,
Yeah,
they're just in there playing around. No, that's perfection right there.
it
So I definitely
it
understand
was.
that.
I immediately got hooked. I was a WCW kid till about 99.
Yeah, I was a WCW kid until it was around that time where it started to get to the point where all right, who's running this place?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And then, but yeah, definitely the same. What was your favorite storyline
in
of
WCW or
either show?
man, that's a good question. Nobody's ever asked me that. Favorite storyline in is it all of wrestling or back then?
All, nope, all of wrestling. It could be now. Something that like grabbed you in any storyline you go back to watch. That'll be the first one you do.
I don't want to say something easy like the Daniel Bryan Yes movement. I actually want to think on this one.
The Yes movement was a hell of a movement though.
Yeah, I remember I'm standing up in front of a television. I'm a grown ass man standing up
Yep.
in front of a television.
You weren't the only one. There was plenty of
Yeah.
them.
You know what? Honestly, it's the Summer of Punk that started out there by before Money in the Bank.
Okay.
Yep, 2011.
Okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure I'm
My,
forgetting something, but I think right now what comes to mind is that one.
back in the day in the early 90s when Sting was like big Ric Flair's biggest rival at the time.
Hmm.
That is what got me into wrestling. Like
Wow.
Sting's energy, him coming out, banging his chest, just yelling is like the energy from that just made you want to paint your face, jump in the ring, and just jump off stuff.
Yes, sir.
It was crazy. I just to this day when Sting comes out, I'm like a little kid.
Yeah,
I've
I
met
hear
him.
that
I've
from a
met
lot.
him. Yeah, I've seen him in TNA. I've seen him in AEW. I didn't get a chance to see him in WWE, but I seen him
Mm,
in WCW back in the day because they used to come to Salisbury, Maryland, to the Wycombe Center.
mm-hmm.
So I've seen him there, but I, every time I see him, it's like I'm a little kid. I'm yelling the whole time. I'm yelling anyway, but I'm yelling extra when Sting's in the ring.
Yeah, man, I hear you at the shows, man.
Oh yeah, man, I got to. I got to make it fun. I either
Yeah,
tell people who are around me, you either gonna yell at me or you gonna yell with me, but you gonna yell.
yeah, yeah. I as soon as I can pick you out of a crowd. I heard you when we were at the 1CW show, me and Alejandro.
Yeah.
I was like, bam, there he is right there. uh,
Yeah, I try to let y'all know in the back that hey, I'm here. I'm
yeah,
bringing the energy for y'all, so please bring it out. You're not coming
yeah,
out to a dead crowd so long I'm out there.
yeah. Hey, man, we appreciate it. That's the
I
one
appreciate
thing.
y'all.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have on your interview questions favorite match?
I was gonna ask you, well, not favorite match of any other show. I was gonna ask you your dream match of you and someone in with someone in WWE?
Dream match. Wow.
But I do want the answer of your favorite match.
All right. My dream match would be Chris Jericho.
Now,
Yeah.
which years? Cruiserweight years, or where he just went to another level in WWE?
About around 2000.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris Jericho in the year 2000. The match that made me decide that I was going to be a wrestler was the Royal Rumble 2000 ladder match with Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh yeah.
It's that Chris Jericho that I would love to wrestle now. I know he would destroy me,
Hey,
but just
you'll
standing
learn
in the
so
ring,
freaking much. Yeah, you'll
I'm
learn so
telling you
freaking much.
that, yeah, Jericho. This Jericho now is great too. Obviously, he's older, he's more seasoned, and he knows way more about the business.
Yeah, I
But
like how he adapts to all his opponents. Like he'll steal
yeah,
their character in a minute, make it way bigger, and then just give it right back to him.
yeah,
like we went over to Japan, had the Rainmaker and Okada. He became the
yep.
Painmaker, and it just overnight just made that big as hell for absolutely no
Mm-hmm.
reason. Like it's great.
My favorite iteration of Jericho is the '09 version with the suit.
Okay.
Yeah. It was so different than any other Chris Jericho. Every other version of Jericho was loud and he was loud, he was energetic, he was out there, but this one was menacing. And
It's great when somebody can change their character and they don't miss a beat and nothing. That's
that
part of
Jericho.
the wrestling that I love.
Mm-hmm. That Jericho is my favorite. It's just how he could just turn from the Ayatollah of rock and roller to the best in the world, just like that.
Yeah,
it was great.
yeah.
And
It's not many. You don't have many characters with that versatility.
no, I think Jericho is a kind of a once in a lifetime wrestler.
Yes.
Or personality, actually, because he does more than just wrestling.
Yeah.
I remember when he left back there in 06. Was it 06? 05 or 06. And he started like a web series. And I think it was called I Used to Be Famous, Jericho. And it was him just living normal day life with a roommate that was kind of a bum.
Okay.
And that web series just kind of entertained me. It was funny as hell.
Yeah, I'm sure he made that very entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta find that, man. I just remembered that show. I gotta find it.
Yeah, always stuff you can go back to.
Yeah.
All right. So, what shows do you have coming up that you're wrestling in, or you can tell some of the card if you have it for the next up show, or whatever you want to promote right now? This is your time.
Okay. I want to say April 14th. I'm gonna be at IWL Independent Wrestling League over there in West Virginia.
Okay.
Me and Alejandro are gonna be facing some people. I don't know what type of little new guys they got, but they apparently got some some kids that are gonna rock our socks off or something,
So long as it's not no guys from Wrong Turn, you'll be fine in West Virginia.
Yeah. I mean, those punks out there think that they got what it takes. Well, we finna stomp some heads in for real.
Hey, show them what BA do, man.
Yeah, them punks took our tag team titles out there, and I wasn't even a part of the match. So we got a message to send out there. So,
okay, so you got some get back to get.
Yeah, big get back. The next day, April 14th, which is actually my wife's birthday, we'll be back in 1CW.
Okay, early shout out to your wife. Happy birthday.
Yeah, she's out there. Yeah, she's out there watching TV with my son right now. So she wants to come out to 1CW for her birthday. So I ain't got no issues with that.
I know that's right.
Yeah. And then April 20th will be the next Brew show. Right back at the same place we were, PBR in Hampton.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Heard
don't
a lot
know
of good
what
things about the show. Heard some great things. I
man.
was on my way, but I got off from work too late. I work in Delaware, so by the time I was going to try to make the drive, but by the time I made it would have been close to the end of the show.
Man, if you can figure out how you can get out there on the 20th of April, the energy was great. it was just fun. A whole bunch of people. I'm not sure what the head count was, if it was a sellout or not, but it damn sure looked like it was. So,
That's what's up. So long
I
as
mean,
it looked, sound, and felt like it, hey, that's the only
bro,
thing that matters.
I can't wait till these videos come out just to show how energetic the crowd was. There was no quiet match.
I'm mad that I got to miss Earl Hebner calling match. I'm kind of
Yeah,
mad about that, but
he called Gabriel Kai versus Jason.
oh man,
Yeah, that was a hot match.
that was a good match.
Hmm. And then we
I've
had
definitely been seeing that being advertised on my Facebook because I'm Facebook friends
yeah,
with both of them.
yeah, and then we had Avery Jacks. She's an up and comer student from the school, the PWA school. She faced off of Billy Dixon.
I've heard of her.
Yeah,
She's younger, isn't she?
yeah. She about
Yes,
20, early 20s. Yeah,
yes, I've
watch
heard of
out
her.
for her. Watch out for her. She gon' she gonna be doing some big things. Trust me. I say by next year she gonna be a breakout wrestler.
That's good, man. I'm excited to see that. I'm also excited to get my first female wrestler on. So if she's interested, tell her I'm definitely game so she can put herself out there.
Yeah, I'll definitely with her. She was supposed to
Appreciate
be at
that.
1CW in the Battle Royal.
Okay.
Yeah, she was supposed to be there, but she ended up hurting her knee,
Okay.
so she missed out on that. No, it's not 1CW. My bad. I get the two mixed up. CCW.
Yeah, CCW.
Yeah, she was supposed to be there. But she ended up knee. But trust me, she'll be back.
Oh, definitely. The strong ones
Hmm.
always do.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Uh, and
What
then
else you got going on?
sorry about that. What we call earlier, April 2nd. Next up, for wrestling for Joe. We got a
Okay.
big card. We got some heavy hitters. We got Eel O'Neill in his first title defense versus Zach Ramses. He's a cat from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Might be wrong about that. He's from Pennsylvania.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure. I think it's Philadelphia, but I don't want to make an ass out of myself, so we just gonna say Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, okay.
Yeah, yeah. He's a 6'9" giant. So we're gonna see what Eel O'Neill can bring.
Yeah, I got to see Eel and Neil in 1CW for the I believe that was my first time.
Yeah,
Really good guy, really good wrestler.
yeah. He's a great guy. Next one we got a really big match too. We got Killian McMurphy and
Okay.
the Deadlock Pro Wrestling Champion Lucky Ali, and
Okay.
that match will be for the Deadlock Pro Wrestling World Title. So we were able to make that happen in like the midnight hour, right before we started posting our lineup. We got the okay from Deadlock, and we were like, let's run with it.
I know that's right.
Yeah. And there's just a whole bunch of other people coming to the show. We got a lot of energy coming. Victor Walker's coming back. He's another one of our breakout people from the school. Just like Akira, that boy's coming up too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody else to look forward to.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So what's your social media? So how can people get it? Follow?
It is on Instagram is where I'm mostly active. It's at the Bryan Simmons. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, my Twitter is up and down. I usually just use Twitter just to see what's going on, but I am not active on that. And Facebook is Bryan Simmons. You can see me with the East Coast title, and that's it.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So look out for Bryan Simmons next up pro wrestling. It's all up from here for the state of Virginia and for independent wrestling.
Yes,
And I
sir. That's what it's
appreciate
all
you
about.
coming on. I know it's early
Appreciate it.
morning. I appreciate you coming on and knocking this out. It was a great wrestling conversation.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see you again, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me, man. Real quick, I never got to tell you my favorite match.
Oh, go ahead and knock that out.
Tag team match for the WWF Tag Team Championships. Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit versus Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes.
That match, I have never seen a tag team match better than that one.
It is crazy because they weren't even tag team.
Exactly. Everything that I want in a tag team match happened in that match.
Yeah.
If you want like to get some chills, go back and just listen to the crowd. It was a Monday Night Raw, and it felt like it was a pay-per-view match.
It should have been a pay-per-view match.
It should have been.
Yes.
But we got it for free, and I haven't seen anything better than that, and I know that's a big statement.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any tag team match better than that. So
everything's about a different type of storytelling than what that is now.
Yeah, that story was just amazing. I followed that match. I still watch it every once in a while to study tag team wrestling and the basic fundamentals of wrestling as well, because they did all of the basic wrestling things without going too far. Obviously, Triple H tore his quad in that match, but everything else, it was as basic as you can be, but the intensity between the four of them was just magic.
And it's crazy with a major injury like that in the match that it still turned out to be a hell of a fucking match. That's just crazy. Usually injuries like that will slow the match down. Definitely a great match. Might be one I have to go back and watch today in my off time between the NCAA March Madness and XFL. I thank you for your time, man.
Thank you, man.
This will not be our last interview. I promise that.
Mm-hmm. I hope I see you at Next Up.
Yeah, you definitely will. That's my plan. That's my plan.
All right.
All right. Have a good day.
You too, brother.
Thank you for listening to Four Corner Fandemonia. Make sure to follow for upcoming shows and also follow Bryan Simmons on all social media platforms. Also, be on the lookout for Next Up Pro Wrestling in Hampton, Virginia. And always remember,
reach for the sky, boy.